Hello, my name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hello, welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. We're getting ready for people to come in tomorrow and have lunch with us, and so I've got some help in the kitchen tonight. Ron's here, he's helping prep some stuff to make some pies for tomorrow, and one of the pies I want to make is a possum pie, and no, it doesn't have possum in it. It's an Arkansas thing, but it's really a chocolate kind of cheesecake type pie. It's got layers. It was first mentioned in the Arkansas Gazette back in 1983, but it became really popular in the later 2000s. But and now it's one of the most popular pies in Arkansas. So I'm going to show you the recipe for that. I'm starting with the crust, and I've got my oven preheating, and I'm going to make the crust first, which is 1 cup of flour, a 1/2 cup of melted butter, and I need a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and then 3/4 cup of chopped pecans. And I have a little more than that in here, but I'm going to reserve some as part of my garnish. So and I'll only need a couple tablespoons for that, so the rest will go in here. And I'm going to use a fork and mix all that together, press it into my pie plate, and then I'm going to put this in the oven at 350 and let it bake for about 15 or 20 minutes. And then I'm going to take it out and let it cool completely before I put the filling in. Okay, our crust is cooling, so now I'm going to go ahead and in my saucepan, I've got a strawberry pie going too that Ron's been helping me with. In my saucepan, I have 1 cup of sugar, and to that I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of cocoa and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of flour and a pinch of salt that I added to that. So I want to whisk those things together just to get them well combined. And there's no heat yet, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, then to double check something, I have 3 egg yolks and 2 cups of milk, and I want to combine those. So I just want to break those up into my milk to get them mixed in well enough that when I add this to the chocolate mixture, those egg yolks are broken up and incorporated. So this is making like the custard that will be that part of our possum pie. Okay, so then I'm going to whisk this into my chocolate mixture. And I want to turn my heat on to about a medium. And I want to cook this, whisking it the whole time, about 8 minutes. And at that point, it may take a little bit longer, but 8 to 10 minutes. And it should at that point be thickening up. So I want to transfer this to a more shallow bowl at that point and cover it with saran wrap and refrigerate it 30 minutes to help it cool down. Now when you put that saran wrap over it, you want to make sure that it's kind of pressed onto the top of your custard, and that will help keep it from getting watery or kind of rubbery on top. So 8 to 10 minutes of stirring constantly so that chocolate and sugar doesn't burn. And then when it's thickened up, we'll put it in a shallower container, put that plastic wrap over it, and refrigerate it for 30 minutes. Okay, at this point, as you can see, we've gotten much thicker. So our pudding has thickened up. Now I want to take 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're off the heat, and I want to add my vanilla. Which is 1 tablespoon. I'm going to whisk that in. Turn my heat all the way off. And then this is ready to go in my shallow container. Cover it with that plastic wrap, and then I'll put it in the refrigerator to cool. I am going to let it cool slightly before I put my plastic wrap over, but not very much. Really putting it in the fridge just speeds up that cooling process. So I'm going to let that cool slightly, then I'll put my plastic wrap over it and put it in the refrigerator. Okay, our pudding layer is cooling and has been for several minutes now. So our pie crust is cooled. So now I am ready to go ahead and make the cheesecake part of this. And so I have 6 ounces of room temperature cream cheese that I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar to. And 2 tablespoons of heavy cream, and I'm going to combine these. And then this will be the layer right above our crust. Crust over. And this is just a very thin layer of cheesecake that goes before our pudding layer. And then when our pudding is cooled, we'll put that over the top of this, and then we'll top everything with 8 ounces of Cool Whip. And you could make your own whipped cream if you want to from heavy cream, but we made our own pudding and our own cheesecake filling. We're not going to do the rest. We'll take one easy step. Okay, I'm going to let this cool. And then when the pudding is ready, we'll show you that topped and then covered it. And you want to refrigerate, after we put the pudding on, you want to refrigerate it for at least 4 hours before you put the whipped cream on. So you can even do that overnight if it's covered. So that's it for now. Okay, let's finish up our possum pie, at least what we can for tonight. And our pudding has cooled, and I want to stir it. And then I'm going to put this over the top of our cream cheese layer and cover it again and refrigerate it overnight. Then tomorrow, before we serve it, we'll put some whipped cream over it, garnish it with those leftover pecans, and it will be ready to serve. Really fudgy, chocolatey layer. if you don't have overnight to let this set, which is what I like to do, you can always just make sure you refrigerate it at least 4 hours to let that pudding continue to set up some. Okay. Lost my knife. Okay. Recover and refrigerate. And don't forget that 8 ounces of Cool Whip in the morning that we're going to put over the top of this, and then we're going to garnish it. Good morning and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. We are continuing our state recipes, and we are so close to the Ozarks where we live that when we get summer peaches, normally some of those from the Ozarks are some of the first ones we get. And cuisine from Arkansas is really noted for its wild game and its fresh fruits and those things that can be locally grown. So, and it's very similar to here at home. So one of our favorites is obviously the peaches, and we like to use them in different recipes, and I freeze them. And anyway, so this recipe will make some warm, decadent Ozark peach turnovers, and they're super easy. They're sweet. They have a great peach filling. But we're going to start with, and I've already started the first part, we're going to slice up. If you're doing the whole recipe, you're going to slice up and peel 3 really large peaches. And I've already taken some of my peaches and put them in my crescents. And if you're going to make the whole recipe, you'll need 2 tubes of crescent rolls. I'm only doing half because it's just my husband and I. So anyway, I've taken 1 can of those crescents and rolled my peach slices in that. And they're in my baking dish. I'm preheating my oven to 350, and I am also melting for my half recipe 1 stick of butter. And to that, in my saucepan, I'm going to stir in 3/4 cup of sugar. And 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, a whole teaspoon for the whole recipe. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Whenever I do Southern recipes, what's considered Southern food, I feel like I should say good morning, y'all. But that's not really how I talk, even though a lot of people from my area of the country do. So anyway, and then I'm also going to have ready some Mountain Dew. And you want to make sure you don't use Sprite, you use Mountain Dew, something with caffeine in it. It works better. But I'm going to let this melt, and then I'm going to pour it over my rolls that have the peaches in them, and then I'm going to pour my 3 ounces of Mountain Dew over the top of that, and then sprinkle it with sugar, and then put it in the oven. And this needs to bake for 30 to 40 minutes. You're going to look for it to be golden brown and bubbly, and then you'll know it's ready. It's great served with vanilla ice cream or just on their own. You just want that sugar to dissolve. And the butter to be completely melted. 3 ounces of Mountain Dew. We always have different sodas on hand because our grandkids and kids all seem to like different sodas. Pour that over the top. Sprinkle it with some cinnamon. Make sure I get the right opening. And then this is going to go in the oven. Show you when it comes out. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.